Yo, it's me! Hello, Aromas. This is Aromie here. Welcome back to Red Embrace Hollywood. We are back with Marcus and Andre. I don't know what choice to pick. Because I don't know if Marcus want to ask personally for help. So I'm going to go, what do you know about Marcus's condition? No, he has communicated very little to me. He looks very disturbed. Beyond the fact that he is unwell. Unwell. What is going on with my, accent going here? And somewhere in Andre's impassive eyes, I thought I could see a trace of curiosity. However, it is unnecessary for me to fully comprehend whatever ails him. After all, I shall be serving only as a conduit, not as any form of direct aid. His soft, elegant voice melded with the quiet night, reminding me of a librarian among his readers. But before we began... Does Michiko understand our affair tonight, Marcus? Nope. No, not yet. What's happening? Are we doing a summoning circle or something? Glancing around at the silent Golgotha, Marcus rolled his shoulders casually. I decided against explaining anything to her. Surely the task is better suited for that tasteful, serpentine tongue of yours. I see. It was hard to tell whether Marcus's remark was complimentary or mocking, and judging from Andre's side glance, he wasn't sure either. Very well, then I will be brief. The hell is happening? Trying to focus the whole of his attention on me, Andre paused for a brief moment. In a time before the city was divided, the Golgotha would often congregate here in search of self-reflection. We have practiced somewhere between meditation and telepathy, joining our vampiric energies through instinctive connections. You might think of it as a temporary pylon, constructed from all our powers, which we then harness for our individual purposes. Unfortunately, after the nights become rife in discord, there is often too much dissonance and static for us to properly focus. Despite Andre's thin smile, I heard a hint of resentment in his voice. Oh God. Tonight, however, appears to be somewhat different. We feel a calm silence, perhaps due to a lull in the fighting that will allow us to draw out our consciousness. I know you're not a Golgotha, but that does not forbid you from joining us. You will merely experience something different. Alright, do I need to be prepared? No preparation is necessary beyond an open mind. Marcus' experience in the practice, he ought to guide you. With a slight nod, Andre motioned towards Marcus. I mean, I did say it from the very beginning. I was very open-minded. Well, there you have it. I suppose it's best we just dive in. A shame I forgot the fruity and scuba gear. He grunted softly, lowering himself into a spot just outside the circle. As I sat down beside him, I noticed Andre already walking away, his hand clasped serenely behind his back. I felt Marcus's hand resting gently on my head, his fingers beginning to stroke through my hair. He is so kind! Now, Michiko. Murmuring in my ear almost inaudibly, Marcus gave me a faintly reassuring smile. There's no need to close your eyes. Simply let every trace of normality slip away, every prejudice, conception, every restraint of logic. Focus on whatever appears as reality around you. Deeply gaze at whatever draws your attention. Can I just look at you? He gestured all around us with one hand before his own eyes seemed to grow unfocused. After a moment, I let my gaze wander towards the moon, the distant city, the gravestones of vampires around me. I think the moon. But because he's not a choice, so I'll look at the moon. Tilting my head up, I turned my gaze towards the dark sky. Then ghostly clouds drifted over the moon, its pale shape looming over the city. As I stared absolutely forward, my thoughts, not my mind, my thoughts began to drift, idle and unordered. I watched them pass by one, until a single question slowly came to stop right in front of me. Is this all there is? Right here in the graveyard. Only the things I can see, taste, touch, smell, hear. Think? Is there something beyond this? Yes. Of course there is. As soon as I thought of an answer, that question gradually faded away, and another one rose to the surface to take its place. Oh God, is this important? Do I want there to be something beyond this? Yes, I want something. Whoa! That is so kind of cool, to be honest. The graveyard vanished, leaving me in darkness. It was cold, freezing, and utterly empty. But something shifted around me, all over me, whatever I was. Right now, where I am and what I'm doing. Is this something serious and meaningful, or will I laugh and forget about it later? It has meaning. But what sort of meaning? It's helping me understand myself. My reply drifted through my mind, which seemed to be enough for now. Well, this is like the beginning intro. Just then something glimmered in the dark. Like a magnet, it began to pull me in, getting stronger the closer I moved towards it. I couldn't see it, but I knew it was there. I knew it was right next to it. Okay. Now the luck, like a blinding light, flickered down on me. Its hum reverberated softly, like I was in a giant space with distant walls and a towering ceiling. The hell? As my eyes slowly adjusted, I realized I was in front of a mirror. Oh god, it's gonna be scary. Oh, it's Markus, isn't it? I was staring at somebody. At myself. No, that looks like Markus. At myself lit up under the spot like a star. It looked surreal. Then, if this isn't real, does the real world matter to me right now? Oh, am I in Markus's point of view? Yes, I know it's still there. Does that mean I'm happy there? Technically, no. Technically, no. Just because you exist doesn't mean that you're happy that you exist sometimes. Sorry, Markus, I said no. I kept staring blankly at the mirror, but it was hard to form any concrete thoughts. Every time I tried to think about myself, the words slipped through my fingers like sand. Instead, questions kept arising out of my mind, flashing before my eyes. Is it lonely here? Am I lonely right now? Yes, I'm isolated. I feel like I'm getting the bad end, because I'm being honest. But can I just leave? Yes, I just have to find a way out. Do I understand who's really saying this? It's me. Then do I really believe what I'm saying? Yes, my answers are real. After that, the questions abruptly stopped. All my focus was drawn to the mirror, to the strange face reflecting back at me. I felt my lips slowly curling into a smile, as despairing blissful as I'd ever been in my life. For a split second, I closed my eyes, blinking away the mirror. The next thing I knew, I was on the sidewalk outside the club. Traffic zoomed down the street, and people strode by on their way to important places. I've been here before. I'm in Markus's point of view. Okay, and I couldn't stay. I had to get somewhere else. This is cool. With that strange thought invading my mind, I started to walk. No one seemed to notice me as I passed them. They casually brushed by or sidestepped me, continuing on their ways. Occasionally, I had to get a stray glance, but almost everyone ignored me. Oh, a woman stepped out to block my path. She stared at me, unimpressed, almost pitying. You're not going to get anywhere like this. Acting strange and trying to sound smart, it's a sad act. No one will like it. As her lecturing words echoed in my mind, the woman shook her head. How do you know what people will like? It's obvious, isn't it? Just make them feel good. Tell them what they already know. Take something old and put a pretty bow on it, and people will notice. They like nice, familiar, easy things, so they'll like you. Why are you still standing here anyway? Your question sent a bolt through me. Almost instantly, I felt myself start walking again, faster this time. I feel like I'm like Aang when he went into the Avatar mind process part. This is weird. As I crossed down the main street into the alley, I heard footsteps behind me. It was the woman. She was following me. Ignoring her, I turned my attention forward instead. I could see a man standing at the end of the alley staring at me like he'd been waiting for me to arrive. What is going on? What are you trying to say? I don't understand. I don't really think you know what you're trying to say either. Again, words ricocheted in my head, but this time they belonged to him. Why don't you just say what you mean? Or better yet, don't try to say anything at all. People will get the wrong idea, and you don't want that. I say what I feel, it's all true. That doesn't matter. What you feel is probably wrong. Wow, how are you gonna tell somebody what they're feeling is wrong? And even if it's right, people will think it's wrong. What? Someone has to be wrong. Just say and feel normal things. Don't be vague. People don't like vague. Why are you still standing here? Oh, he's being bombarded by like everyone's opinions and thoughts. Your body jerked forward. I stepped past him, continuing towards the end of the alley, but I heard his footsteps closely following me. It's like he's not allowed to voice his own opinions. The side street was empty, or at least I thought it was empty at first. Oh, it's Aloysia. A girl stepped out of the shadow, her hips swaying as she sauntered towards me. You're so cute, you know? You'd be the perfect lover. Just say what I want you to say. Her voice sounded hot and syrupy, and I could smell an overpowering sweetness from her. One of her hands reached out to stroke down my chest, dipping between my legs. That's the only thing I really care about. Be pretty, seduce me, tantalize me. Even if you're horrible, at least you're mine. At least I know you want me. Wow. But that's not who I am. What does that matter? Don't you exist for me? Don't you want to love others, to make them happy in love? Shouldn't you care about other people more than yourself? Why are we still standing here anyway? This is kind of getting dark, isn't it? She leaned forward, trying to close the space between us. I jerked back reflexively and made the mistake of looking over my shoulder. The man and woman were catching up to me. If I stayed here, then... Before I knew it, I'd broken into a sprint. Now 3 of them were behind me and hot on my heels. I flew down into the parking garage, passing more and more people as I ran. This isn't very original, is it? A scornful voice rolled at me. Running from things like us. You're such a cliche. Don't worry, we won't judge you too much. Another voice sighed at me with pity. You're still young and stupid after all. That doesn't mean we won't make fun of you, though. Behind your back, maybe to your face. You've got to hear it somehow. Damn. Each one started following me. Their racing footsteps echoed like thunder off the concrete walls, roaring louder and louder in my ears. I dashed out of the garage and into the sewers. There, another figure was waiting for me. Oh, hi, Lazarus. What's the point of running? You'd never be great. You'd just suffer and die and nobody, just like everyone else. The voice sounded delighted, full of nothing but childish glee. And even if you were great, it wouldn't matter. You'll be forgotten soon enough. You're just trying to break me. Why would I need to do that? You're already broken. Fuck. That's rude. You don't really have any faith in yourself. That's why you're hopeless. But it's alright. Nobody really believes in themselves, even if they pretend to. Why are you still here anyway? Pulling out a long gleaming knife, the figure eagerly stepped in towards me. I ran past them, deeper into the tunnel, into the sand, but I could still hear them after me, getting closer. Hey, don't listen to them. Over the sound of crashing waves, a new voice boomed in my head. He towered on the sand, grinning at me encouragingly. You can be strong like me, confident. Just wear the crown, set an example, rule like you're supposed to. I mean, everybody's got a crown, but someone's got to stand up and be a king. The strongest power comes from showing people where they need to go. He's wrong. Alright, okay. Almost everyone is in this picture now. Another voice cut in, soft and weak but bitter. The strongest power comes from choosing to suffer. History's proved it. You have to suffer with everyone else. Sacrifice yourself for everyone else. You're only as good as what you offer humanity. Suffer to show how good you are. Suffer to prove you have any worth at all. No, you don't need to do that. The two of them blended together, trying to drown out the other. Even they started to follow me, trailing me like bloodhounds across the sand. I ran and ran and ran. The further I fled, the more faces I passed, the more footsteps chased me. All other voices echoed in my head, each one trying to scream over the rest. But no matter how hard I ran, I couldn't escape it. But that constant, deafening roar. At last I burst into the club. Hordes of people shoved and pushed me, but I clawed through them like a terrified animal. I had to get out of here. I had to escape. Yo, it's me! Do I exist in your world, or do you exist in mine? At last, a last voice, one that sounded like my own. It rang out over all the others, piercing right into my brain. But still, I ran past. They were all on my heels. I couldn't stop. Past the bar, the lounge, into the hallway that had started all of this. The hallway that was a dead end. Oh, was he bit here too? With nowhere else to go, I squeezed my eyes shut. I could hear their footsteps coming up behind me, slowing to a stop behind my back. Then they were silent. Open my eyes. This was it. I'd never be able to make it any further. Hollywood was the beginning and it would be the end. A cage made of cold straight lines, not lights. I opened my eyes. God, am I gonna see something scary? Once more the mirror hung in front of me, but there wasn't anything left to reflect. Okay, I was staring at the graveyard again. And this is where we're going to stop for today's episode, because that shit was deep. That was really deep. I'm assuming I was in Marcus' point of view, but I hear my own voice. Or I'm seeing what Marcus is seeing, or something like that. I don't know, but that was pretty cool and pretty dark. But anyway, thank you guys for watching today's episode. Stay beautiful, and I'll see you guys in the next one.